So, this is Susie from the Mary Potter Foundation. I am so excited to have you on.
I'm so excited to be here. Thank you so much for inviting me.
I'm going to cry already. It's
Oh,
actually
no,
my pleasure.
Don't cry. Don't cry.
Hilariously, we had already met. I had done your lashes, a year and a half, 2 years ago.
Yeah.
And then when Mel asked me to be an ambassador for the foundation, she's like, oh, Susie's coming. She writes our stories for the
Newsletters
families.
and articles, yeah.
And I rock up and I was like, I know you. We've met.
Same.
In what world?
I know.
Oh, it's Adelaide, but also...
It's very Adelaide, but I hadn't put two and two together because I had heard your name, but people were just talking about Sam and your beautiful mum, Susan.
Yeah.
And so when I met you at the cafe, I'm like, oh my God, it's beautiful, Sam. So it's just symmetry, serendipity that
100%.
we found ourselves back together again. So
and we got along so well at your lash appointment as well. I was
everyone falls in love with you though, Sam, I think.
Make me blush.
And you've just done my lashes again because I went to Japan. So it was just
so jealous.
It's lovely, yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you for asking me on. And I think, am I your first person from the Mary Potter
You
Foundation
are. I have been itching to get someone from Mary Potter on, but obviously it's been so busy with the Walk for Love happening this weekend, so it's been a crazy time.
It's full on, but I'm honoured to be the first,
so grateful.
and I won't be the last.
I hope not.
I'm sure. I think
going to get all the girls on.
No, absolutely. So, shall I just talk a little bit about what I do
absolutely.
and everything? So, I suppose that people who've been watching your podcast know about the foundation and how we support Mary Potter Hospice, and we also support palliative home care through Calvary Hospital, and we do all kinds of other things as well. We run a wellness program for people who are going through cancer treatment at Adelaide Haematology and Oncology which is part of Kimberley House, part of Calvary, North Adelaide. And so our programs are really designed to give individual and meaningful care to people going through the worst time of their lives, as you know.
It's so important.
It's so important, and it's not really spoken about very much. I think the whole thing about palliative care is not talked about very much at all. The foundation exists because we support primarily Mary Potter Hospice, because we believe that it's our mission. It's an honour and a privilege to care for people who are dying.
Yeah.
And by doing that, in supporting those patients and families, we need to raise money. So need to raise money and awareness, as you've probably know or have talked about.
And
previously.
it's a hard thing to do for a subject that people don't like to talk about. But it's one of the most important things.
And I think that is our difficulty. We're not curing anything. And that's why we are not seen as, I want to use the word, it's not a comfortable subject for people to talk about. Westerners have a very uncomfortable relationship with death because we're losing someone we adore. We don't want to talk about it. So I find myself that since I have started at Mary Potter Foundation, and I've been there since 2018 with a break in between for a couple of years, what I am constantly amazed by is the family's resilience. People like you that come out of there after losing your darling mum, and your whole world has just turned on its axis, and you're coming out and everybody else is going on with their lives. And you're like, do you not know that my entire world has just fallen in on itself? So I look at you and I look at so many others who have gone through that same thing, particularly losing your mum at such a young age. Your mum was so young. And I think for me, that's the thing that I find amazing, like the people's resilience and how they just go on after that is incredible. So it's taught me a great deal as well. I think that it's taught me to live a life much fuller much bigger, much kind of like, yes, I'm wearing all the jewels, I'm going to wear everything, I'm not saving anything, because life can turn on a dime.
The perspective.
It's all about perspective. So I've jumped around a little bit there. But,
I do that all the time.
I'm sorry. It's just kind of like, oh yes, I just go off on tangents, and then I'm like, hang on.
No, don't be. It's perfect. We'll always circle back.
What are we talking about? So we financially support the hospice by making special things happen for individuals. And that might be family members, but particularly patients. So we have a patient support coordinator in the hospice that our donors fund, and she is the direct line to us at the foundation. So what happens is, when any patient comes into Mary Potter Hospice, we make sure everybody has fresh flowers in their room. We found a lot of people don't get flowers, and so that was something that the nurses would say to us, oh, not everyone's getting flowers, can we please? And we'd be like, yes. So that was just a mandate that when anyone came in, they would get flowers. And if they're in there for a longer period of time, we just keep giving new flowers all the time because it brightens up someone's room. You would know yourself that we have quilting groups that make beautiful quilts.
I've got mums.
Oh yeah, and I think that's the thing. They choose them. They can get to choose the kind that they want, the colours that they like, and they're wrapped up in that beautiful quilt. And then that's given to you and given to daughters, sons, husbands, wives, partners, friends. It's given to that person who is most in their life because they were wrapped up in its love, and that's, I don't know, their scent, their smell, they were there. That was the last thing that they were wrapped in. So that means a great deal to people. We give welcome packs when they come. You got the welcome packs, yes, for Susan, just to kind of, I don't know, a lot of them come directly from hospital. They may not have had time to go home and get PJs or any of their toiletries and things like that. So those sorts of things are important. And then the patient support coordinator at some point will make herself known to, the patient and family, and just in a very non-obtrusive way. And we'll kind of be like, tell me a little bit about yourself, not particularly to the patient, but it might be to the family member. Like, what can we do for you? And I think that's what it's about. When you go into the hospice, you think before you go in, God, I don't want to be in a hospice. It's the worst place in the world. But when you go into Mary Potter, it's
beautiful.
It's different, isn't it?
Yeah.
Did you find it that way, Sam?
Because Mum had been so against it because people see it as the place you go to die.
Yeah.
And they're not completely wrong, but the thing is at that point, you can't change your outcome. And Mary Potter and other hospices would just, hang on, get it together, Samantha. Would be about making what time you do have left as beautiful as possible.
That's exactly right.
Yes, so that's why I want to do this so much, because if we'd known, we could have got in there 2 weeks earlier.
I know.
It was like we had our own apartment, I moved in. Like all of the things, I had no idea they could throw all the parties for you and anything Mum wanted or needed, the sunset, which I'm sure we're going to get into.
We'll get into that.
But it's like, if people knew, of course, it doesn't change where you're going, but
it changes the experience.
Absolutely, and for the families.
And for the families. And I think that what makes the hospice differ from perhaps being in a hospital ward, the nurses are wonderful wherever they are. They're just goddesses, gods and goddesses as far as I'm concerned. But
they have more time to give
It's time. Yeah. And that's the other thing that the foundation does. We pay for extra nursing care. Yeah. So that the ratio between patient and nurse is like spot on. I remember you telling me, oh my God, this bed is so comfortable.
I know, it's so good.
I remember you telling me that you rang the bell once.
They were in before my finger was even off the buzzer.
I remember you telling me that, and I think that's wonderful, because when you need someone, you need them 100%.
Fast. Yeah.
But I was really comforted to know that, because I thought, well, that's what the foundation does as well. So we pay for that extra nursing care. We make sure that there is a beauty therapist in
I
there.
still talk to Rose. She still messages me.
Do you still talk to Rose? She is goddess. She once told me this beautiful story about a lady. She had 3 daughters, and this lady was, you know, used to be very, very glamorous and wanted her nails done and everything. And Rose said, you know what, we're going to get your 3 daughters in and we're having a spa day.
Yeah.
And so, again, this is something that I guess the nurses, the patient support coordinator,
Yeah.
the therapists learn about people as they're in there, giving them a massage or giving their feet a massage. People talk to them, and
Yeah.
she found this out about this beautiful lady, and she said, we're having a spa day. And I spoke to Rose for a story. It was in one of our newsletters. This is probably about 2019. And she said she remembers this beautiful lady sitting there. She was sitting with her girls. She'd pampered them. She'd given them foot massage. She'd painted their nails. She'd put makeup on them, done their hair. And she said they were all sitting there giggling and laughing, and they were all drinking champagne. And this lady's husband was there as well. And she sat there and said to Rose, this is the way to die. And like, this, look at me, I'm surrounded by my 3 angels, my darling husband, I've got champagne, really good champagne, isn't this the best? And although it sounds, you listen to that and you go, oh God, that's very kind of confronting, that's coming from the person who's dying. So what we attempt to do is to bring those moments of joy to people, because the whole premise of Mary Potter is being for others and for living every moment, every minute, every hour until
You can't.
you can't.
And that's such a memory for those daughters and that husband as well.
Absolutely. And they came back to us and said it was just a happy day. If you could call, that your mum is going, but she was smiling and really, really happy. And I think those are the sorts of things that stay with me. Other little things like I interviewed a beautiful young woman. She would have been 30. She had lost her husband after 18 months of being married in the hospice. And when she moved with him, basically into the room, she wanted to sleep with him in the same bed, because just to snuggle together, be together as they always had. And so the nurses brought in a special bariatric bed, which is bigger than the normal, king single, I suppose, that patients are generally in, so that they could lay together every night and sleep together. The nurses would come and tuck them in at night time. It was just, so it's simple things like that.
Well, at the end of people's life as well, I think it's those simple things that mean the most. It's not
It's not
cars,
things.
it's not holidays, it's literally the most simple.
It is the most simple things. And other people that I have spoken to are, there was a family whose father, he was a young dad, but he used to love motorbikes and Chevys, and so he couldn't ride a Chevy anymore. But we were talking to him and we thought, gosh, I wonder if he would like to go, if we hired a Chevy for him, got a driver, took him down to the beach, because he used to drive down there with his wife and have fish and chips on the beach. We spoke to his wife and we said, would you think this would be something that he would like to do? And she was beside herself. She said, I didn't think you could make that happen. And we said, yes. So on a sunny Sunday morning, this car drove up, and this wonderful man from this Chevy hire place came along, and the joy on this patient's face, he hadn't been eating, he was very, very depressed, and so we wanted to do something to cheer him up. Honestly, his family spoke to me afterwards and said it changed everything. He ate fish and chips. He had his favourite lemon meringue pie when he came home, back to the hospice. He was telling everyone about it. The next day he was still on an absolute high. They couldn't wipe the smile off his face, whereas he'd been really depressed.
Yeah.
That to me is individual care. That to me is meaningful care. What can we do to make this the best possible experience at the worst time in your life?
And that's exactly it.
Is that how you kind of felt?
100%. And like, because I've been sharing Mum and I's journey for nearly a year now. It's been a year since we went to New Zealand, and I posted that first interview that we did. And the amount, I never expected it to go viral. The amount of comments where people said we couldn't face the fact that their mum or their dad was dying.
No.
Or the parent couldn't. They didn't talk about it. They didn't have any of the conversations Mum and I made sure we had.
Yeah.
They didn't do anything like this. And then the biggest regret was that, like, well, now they're gone. And now they can't. And so, of course, it is the, like, hardest, toughest thing to...
It is.
Oh, it's so hard. But what's the alternative? They die and you do nothing.
Exactly. And so whatever is possible, we have to do. And I mean, we've got to do that in our normal lives anyway, don't we?
Yeah.
And also, your mum would want you to live your
Absolutely.
best life. Have you talked about Paris? Have you talked about what's happening
on the
with
podcast?
Paris? Yes.
Not yet.
Okay.
I've got one. I'm filming with Jessie soon. Which we're
going to talk about that.
do a 6-month check-in because what the it's been
I know.
6 months next month.
I know.
It feels like 2 days ago, but 10 years ago.
I know.
Yeah.
I'm putting on my glasses now. My groovy,
I love them.
My groovy
They're so
glasses.
groovy.
I know, I love them. Because I've had to make some notes.
Of course, we can't miss anything out.
I forget everything. So we were talking about little things that we can do for people. But also there are some bigger things that we have done as well over the years. And they mean a lot to them, but for us, in terms of promoting donor awareness and promoting donor support, which is what I do in the newsletters and other writing that I do, it's to say, this is where your money is going. You know, sometimes we give to charities and we go, well, that's gone into the vortex. Like, what is that actually used for? We can report back via our newsletters and via e-news and so forth as to where your money's going. You can actually specify where you want your money to go and so what your donations are. And so we have done some fantastic things for patients individually, but for anybody in the hospice, we have got all kinds of things happening. And please excuse me for having a quick look here, but we have had gin and tonic runs, and we started a gin and tonic run in 2019. These gins were donated to us by this beautiful young woman who is starting up her own Adelaide-based gin distillery. Yeah. And so she said, I just want to donate all of this to you. I think that families would really, really enjoy it. And so my executive director and I put a gin and tonic thing together, and we walked in and I thought, oh gosh, how's this going to go? But the look on families' faces, first of all, they were like, how much do we have to pay for this? And we're like, it's free. Yeah. It's all free. And they just were talking about how it's a touch of normality. Like at home, we'd be having a drink before dinner. We can have a drink with mum or dad or whoever is in that room. You know, they can have a soft drink if they want to, but that then started the idea that we need to have a drinks trolley in there all the time. So we do have one that goes around with wine and, you know, gin and so forth. And we are responsible. You know, you don't kind of get given the bottle. It's just, you can bring your own booze in, but it's just a touch of normality. We have cheese and wine days. We celebrate Melbourne Cup Day,
I saw a croissant cart on Instagram the other day. I think someone had freshly baked croissants going around.
Yeah, so it's all those sorts of things on a daily kind of basis. And I have to read something to you that I saw something that, So I wrote this thing about flowers, fascinators and food, and it was about Melbourne Cup Day. And this
Yeah.
gorgeous, gorgeous girl wrote, I've got to find it now. So we received this note from someone. We have this book that's in the kitchen, and that any family member that is in there can write a little note in there.
Yeah.
And this beautiful girl wrote, "The first day my grandpa was here, it was Melbourne Cup Day. The nurses all had fascinators in their hair. There were 2 miniature ponies strolling around, and next thing a volunteer wheeled in a drinks trolley and gave me a champagne. It's all downhill from here. Truly thankful for all the unexpected things like this that you do to ease such a difficult time." And even though like she was quite humorous in it, I thought that's what it's all about.
Yeah.
So I suppose that is the essence, Sam, of what we're about, to raise support and awareness for supporting the hospice with the unexpected care
Yeah.
that people don't expect, and to make it as normal as possible in as many areas as we can in the most abnormal situations, and to celebrate those things that are going on outside the hospice too, like Grand Final Day, Christmas. We have Christmas dinners for everybody. We've just written about a family that celebrated Christmas in July because they knew their dad wasn't going to make it to Christmas. And so this was their thing that they wanted to do. So we're like, yes, we're going to make that happen. I think there were 16 or 17 of them.
Yeah.
That's what gives us such joy, watching their joy, preparing the table, preparing everything. And Mel, my colleague from the foundation, was totally involved in doing that. So I hear a lot of it secondhand and feel like, oh, I wish that I was there, but they give me the information, the stories, and then I will speak to the families if they're open to it. And generally we find they are, because they want to share what happened.
so
and I guess
appreciative.
it's like, well, let me tell someone about this hospice that I didn't know anything about and thought it was going to be dark and grim. And I remember talking to you, and you were saying that it was the last thing your mum wanted, and you thought it was going to be really dark and horrible and grim. And when you got there, you found that it wasn't quite what you expected. No one wants to go to a hospice. No one, they all, and everyone, and people go in there in an acute phase and might last for a few days, sadly, or they might be there for weeks. So it's not a happy topic to talk about.
Yeah.
And I think, getting back to what you were saying earlier, people don't talk about it because we don't cure anything, and we're not.
Yeah. And I think that until you've been in the situation yourself, you have no idea how much all those little things mean. Because of course, I guess if you're looking at what charity will I donate to, like you said, it's not curing anything. So I can see how it would get a bit to the side. But I bet you anyone who has lost someone who has experienced this, it would be.
Yeah. I think, and I think that is really where our donor base comes from.
Yeah.
Bless them all, because they know what it's like to lose somebody.
Yeah.
And they know what it's like to get that that special care.
And how important it is.
And how important it is.
And it's not just for that person that's gone. Like the sunset for me and Mum.
Yes, I know. That was just. You've spoken about that?
A little bit, but not as much. I was sort of waiting to have a hospice podcast. So,
well, do you want to talk then about how that came to fruition in terms of what your mum wanted?
Yeah.
Because we've talked about it. I've now written about it.
Yes.
Why don't you? Because this is totally you.
Yes.
Are you going to be okay to do
Maybe.
this?
If I start crying, you can jump in.
I'll jump in.
You can jump in. Yes, because Mum and I and Jessie, like, she really wanted to get to Henley Beach and to have fish and chips on the beach. And it sounds stupid that it was something that we hadn't ticked off the list yet, but because Mum was so unwell, mornings was sort of her time where she had energy, and just at night it wasn't ever you know, like, oh, like, yeah, let's get in the car, because it's an hour round trip and everything.
course.
And so I actually had it booked. Like, I had an Airbnb booked. What is it called? Like Aldinga?
Yes. I think you told me. Yeah, you did.
Yes, it was booked. It was actually gifted to us because of Mum's condition, and it was meant to be the end of November, and then went into hospital, so we had to cancel it. But I was like I had it booked because that way she'd be there, and we could just walk down to the beach, walk back. It wouldn't be such a drama to get her there.
Yeah.
And as much as like we'll get into it, but I'm so glad we got to do it. But when I didn't know that we could do it, Jessie was like, you did so many other things. Like, I know you didn't get that done, but we did Melbourne, we did New Zealand, we did all these things. Like, you can't, you know, dwell on something when you got to do so many other things. But this damn sunset was something she really, really wanted. And then I think it was Lisa pulled me aside. I don't know, I think I'd been there for a few days. And she was asking, did you want to bring Christmas forward? And I'm sat there like, oh my God, we're not getting Christmas. Like,
no, I know.
I know.
It's very confronting, isn't it, when you're told that? You're kind of going, all those things that you're just expecting are going to happen.
Yeah.
You're being told, look,
yeah.
it's not going to happen.
So Mum had good scans in October. I know they can never guarantee, but they said we had Christmas.
It's just
and you never
turned
know.
like that.
So we were just chilling, like, oh yeah, good, we've got a few months. I have to worry about the scan this time, and then, but anyway, so Lisa asked, and I said, like, I think she mentioned that they've done like a medical taxi or whatever, and done a sunset. Like, that, I want that. Like, I want a sunset. I want fish and chips, champagne at the beach. And I did not know that. Obviously, the hospice and the foundation had been so great, and we'd had parties. We had a Mary Poppin party.
Oh, I love this story.
Because Mum always wanted to go to the gay club with me to go dancing.
I love this story.
And so, yeah, because that was like maybe the first thing that we did. And the foundation organised like pizza and food and champagne and decorations. And we had our sequins on, like what my gay bestie Lee and I would wear to Mary's. And everyone came over, and we turned it into like a little mini Mary Poppins for the night.
That would have been amazing.
It was so fun. And the best thing is Mary Poppins, the actual club, then sent Mum flowers the next day because they saw it. I
How fantastic.
was like, how iconic. A gay bar sent my mum flowers in the hospice.
I love it.
Yeah. So I knew,
love
like,
it.
obviously things like that, and the beauty
Yes.
therapists and everything. But then when Lisa said, like, that was a possibility, I was like, what do you mean? Like, they, obviously the foundation paid for a medical, like a taxi where you can put
Access cab.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They also paid for the cab to stay with us rather than drop us off and then us wait for another one. They paid for them to stay with us the whole time. So the second that Mum was like, no, I'm done, we could go. 2 nurses. Because I was also,
2 nurses. Wow. I didn't know that. I just,
Yeah.
sorry. I didn't
Yeah.
know that. I thought it was just one.
yeah, no, we had mental blank. Mary Morgan.
Mary,
There we go. Sorry,
okay.
Mary. Mary, and then Jackie met us down there as well.
Oh,
Because obviously, like,
she's the best.
she's the absolute best. So they came. So that also Mum just felt safe that, you know, if she needed anything. And, like, I just could never have imagined something like that was possible.
No.
And it's everything.
But it's such a simple thing. And she got what she wanted, and she was with you. She was with you, and that's something. And also your photos of that and your video of that.
35 million people
Are you serious?
have seen that now.
Oh my God,
So
Sam.
that got to 10 million overnight. Have you seen the Lady Gaga, what's it called? Concert that she just did?
Yes.
That was 2.5 million people. Did you see it? And I'm looking at that going, 18 times that have seen my video.
18. So you've had 18 million views.
35 million.
35 million views.
Yeah, 35 million views. So I went into Mary Potter.
That's incredible.
It's insane. So I went into the hospice, and the Instagram had 400 followers. And within a week of that video, it had gone to 4,000, I think you're on nearly 9,000 followers
my God. Well,
now.
that's Mel's area, so I don't
Yeah,
know.
because that video just went woof. And I posted that for me as part of, because I post my life.
Yeah.
But to know that that got so many eyes on the hospice, and I'm now using that we've raised $5,000 for Sunday.
Oh my God.
Yep.
You're amazing. Thank you so
Thank
much.
you.
Oh my God.
The best thing is that has brought all of this, so much awareness, so many donations. Like that is
You
my
are
like.
incredible, Sam. So grateful to you. I think that's the thing. Like what you're doing is really, I guess, paying those beautiful memories that you have forward. Like
Yep.
it's like so that we can make other things happen for
Absolutely.
other patients and families. Because no, there's no funding.
No.
There's no. So that's why we even exist. It's because
Yep.
there's just no funding. But it's those. I think that's why. I don't know, I just feel really blessed. I'm to hear that and just to think, oh my God, it's made a difference to Susan. It made a huge difference to Susan and it's made a lifelong difference to you. And going through your grief on a day-to-day, hourly basis, those moments are going to be the sustaining factor in it. It's those memories. We did that together.
Yep.
And those moments together where you said everything that you wanted to say.
Yep.
No regrets.
No regrets.
No regrets. So I think that's amazing.
Yeah.
So,
and I think it's given me like a purpose or something to turn all of this like into.
Yes.
Is if I can do anything that helps other people that are then in that situation.
You're incredible.
It doesn't bring Mum back, but it,
your mum
could do something with it.
I know, darling. And your mum would be so, so proud of
I know.
you.
I wish I could show her.
I know, but she would. I still say she's sitting on your shoulder. She's sitting right next to you.
Yep.
The spirit is there. Her spirit's there. She's with you. I think she would be so, so proud of you.
She would love this.
She would absolutely love it. And I think if it helps you too, I mean, doing the podcast and whatever helps you navigate through is positive.
Absolutely.
It's absolutely
it's my coping
wonderful.
mechanism. It's a good one though.
It's a good one.
I've had like spiritual healers. I've had like this trauma therapist. I'm just getting free therapy on this podcast.
Oh.
It's great. No, but it's amazing. And the people I've connected with by sharing my story. I had a beautiful woman on last week who, her mum, I think, was sick for 5 years. And she was trying to get pregnant that whole time. Couldn't. 1 month after her mum died, she was 3 to 4 weeks positive. Yeah.
Oh, wow.
I feel like I'm not super spiritual, but that feels like a bit of a part, like a,
I think
so.
So.
Absolutely.
And you hear about those things a lot, don't you? It's just like, I don't know, whether it's spiritual or timing or whatever it is, or there's some
divine intervention.
Exactly, something going on anyway. Right, darling, you're doing so well. You're doing
Thank
so
you.
well. I'm so
I know,
proud
I
of you.
just cry on camera now.
No, but you know what? You're such a good-looking crier.
Thank you. It's all the Botox.
I love you. But no, when you cry, you don't even go red. I'm the ugliest crier in the world. I get this big bulbous nose and I look and I puff up and my eyes go even more little than they generally do. I'm the ugliest crier. Do
you know what? I, as you know, take photos of everything, and there are some photos of me in the hospice where I just like snapped a bit when I was actually losing it. And like this, it's the snot. Trust me, I do get red. I'm just good at like.
You're very good at recovering. I am terrible at recovering. If someone goes, "Are you all right?" I'll go, "Don't be nice to me.
Yeah.
Be a bitch. Be a bitch. I can handle when you're being a bitch, but don't be too nice to me," because I'll just like fade into this bulbous, red mess. It looks terrible, but you are such a gorgeous looking.
Oh my God! Stop
Well,
that.
you're gorgeous anyway. But no, you're gorgeous looking crier. Sorry.
No.
That sounds so crass, considering what we're talking about.
I cry all the time, so it's nice to know that I'm pretty well I'm doing it.
You're
Thank
gorgeous, darling. Don't you worry.
Thank you. I think, what I'm really excited to do, and I'm not sure if you watched I think I did show the intro when we had coffee that day to the podcast about why I'm doing it, is my biggest thing is I want to change what we think about palliative care.
Yeah.
Because, again, if we had known, number one, we were in hospital for 3 weeks. We could have jumped over 2 weeks earlier. But even as you were saying, the palliative care at home.
Yes.
My mum, and I think you mentioned this to me earlier, like people see it as the end, but almost, because what did you say? It
doesn't hasten death.
That's it. It doesn't hasten it. It just
It gives you more choice.
Yes.
It actually allows you, on this roll, I think this is what we're saying.
Yes.
You're on a roller coaster of treatment, whether it's cancer treatment or whatever the terminal prognosis is.
Yep.
And a lot of your decisions have been taken out of your hands.
Yep.
This is the one decision that you really get to make. You can stop it and this is the other thing people are really not aware of. Palliative care doesn't mean that you're going to stop treatment. You can continue treatment, but you have a choice over what's important to you.
Yes.
This is the choice that you have with your palliative care practitioner, your doctor, to now say, look, this is what I want to do and this is now what's important to me. And once you are in a palliative care program, it doesn't have to be through Mary Potter, but any good palliative care program, it's where you now come into the story totally. It's like, I know what I can have, things are going to be explained to me, but now I can say, this is what I want now going forward.
100%.
And it is literally about your quality of life. And there's been scientific studies done, and I remember speaking to one of our chief nurse practitioners who was talking about palliative care can actually prolong life. So I know that sounds an oxymoron.
No, it makes sense to me.
Do you know what I mean?
Yes.
It can, and if you're in an environment where you're being looked after and your individual needs are being really taken into account, and that question
and your mental state.
It's your mental state.
Yep.
And you're in an environment where you are really listened to, where everything's explained to you, and where you can have your, beautiful daughter around you, your loved ones around you. There's no visiting hours, people just can come and go. And also, that can also be controlled too. You don't have to have every man and his dog in. And I think we touched on this, didn't we, once before with your beautiful mum?
Yeah.
All of her friends and your friends could all come in, but if it was a time where you thought, I just want to be with her by myself.
Yep. All the nurses do the dirty work for you and they tell people, nah, she's busy.
They're like, I'm sorry, she can't see anybody today, which I think is fantastic.
And they advocate for what that person wants and needs.
Absolutely. So I think that palliative care does get all kinds of things said incorrectly. People don't know enough about it. But I think from the time that you get a terminal diagnosis, that to be part of a palliative care service is everything, because you're not going to come into the hospice the day that you are told you need palliative care. But if you're acute, certainly you can come in. And yes, you could have come in 2 weeks previously, but it's just when she was there, it counted. When Susan
100%.
was there, it counted.
Yeah.
So I just think, we need to be more educated about it.
Well, Mum was offered services at home, I swear, even a year before, because she was terminal. She wouldn't do it. And my mum is a very, what's the word? Like very British. Very proud British woman. And like, obviously, the distance she could walk was getting less and less in her capabilities. If she wasn't so proud, we could have got her a little gopher, because what she missed was going around the River Torrens. Oh. And I'm like, I did try without pushing, but I was like, if you would accept a bloody gopher, we could walk together and you could be out in the fresh air.
Yes.
You could be out all morning.
Absolutely.
And a few times I did get her in a wheelchair for certain things, but she just, and I understand, but she just felt like she was being looked at and just felt less than and la la la. But so it has to be what that person's comfortable with. But I'm like, if not just her, but if everyone was more open, accepting of palliative care and making the most of the time you have left, then she wouldn't probably have felt as judged if she did something like that or felt as looked at, Like if everyone can just think differently with those things.
Absolutely.
But we always say, if I could have got her in a gopher, we're going everywhere.
Susie, you could have been in a golf.
I know. Do you know, I've got to tell you, when we went to New Zealand, she was really anxious, but I was very willing to do everything right.
Yeah.
And I said, you need a wheelchair in the airport, because Sydney International was quite big. And I was like, you're going to be by the time we get to New Zealand if you're proud and you want to hobble around. So I had her in the wheelchair. I gave her all my Louis Vuitton luggage so that she felt like, Queen Bee. And so she's all stacked up. She's got her bag. She's got a little suitcase, and I'm pushing the wheelchair. But I had to have like both carry-ons with the handles up so I could hold the handle and the, oh my, honestly,
crazy.
I got it done. But as we're wheeling through, she's starting to get a bit like, people are looking at me and like anxious, because I was very good at making her laugh. Even in the hospice, she was anxious whenever she had to need help to go to the bathroom, which, while I'm on that subject, I want to make sure I say that palliative care and being in hospice leaves me to be the daughter and the nurses to look after mum. It gives us the space just to have that relationship with mum without it turning into her being embarrassed by me helping her do something, which is an honour to do for me regardless. But that is such a big thing I wanted to make a point about.
I'm really glad you mentioned that. That was something I meant to say earlier. That has been said to us time and time and time again by mainly daughters, funnily enough, because I think that it falls a lot to the daughters to look after. I'm not being sexist. I know some beautiful sons that look after their mums and so forth, but oftentimes it's the daughters or daughter-in-law or a female in the family, and they've gone, I can just now come in and I've realised I can be her daughter.
And the emotional side of it all.
Yes. Yeah. And so I'm not having to do those physical and medical things for her anymore. I can just sit and talk to her,
100%.
be there, hug her, love her, be there to just enjoy our time together without worrying. And I know that others, Sam, they've just said they felt like literally a rock fall off their shoulder.
Absolutely.
Just in that, because you know yourself how anxious and stressed you are.
Yeah.
In that environment anyway, and it's one less thing you need to worry about.
Absolutely.
Help is literally just outside the door.
Yeah.
Was your mum near the nurses' station?
Right next to it.
Oh, that's perfect.
Yeah, we got to hear all the gossip.
Like, Mum, don't speak for a minute. Look what's going on out there. I know, they just chat away about everything, don't they?
Yeah.
But I like that about it too.
Yes.
It is people chatting and laughing and talking and so forth.
Absolutely.
And that's the other thing I meant to say too, because I'm racing around all over
I'm
the
the same.
place. So I go off in tangents. Our kitchen, which has just been completely renovated, the hospice kitchen, that is something that our donors pay for as well. So at any time of the day or night, you can go and get a proper hot coffee on a proper, cappuccino
there was porridge,
machine. And there's all kinds of
cereal,
food that you can
snack
get.
bars, ice cream. We found the
cream.
ice creams in the freezer.
Good girl.
When we were there.
Good looking. Yes.
Yeah.
Go and everything is there for you. And so
Up and goes.
Up and goes.
Yeah.
They've got up and goes.
I was living off those.
Oh, that's good. And then they have, all of the bad stuff that's not meant to eat in day-to-day life. But this is what we find people love at the end.
Oh, absolutely.
Cakes. I know we have cakes and
enjoy
fruit and
your
everything
life.
That's exactly right. And I know sometimes people go, oh, that's not very healthy having, all those yummy cream cakes. And I just think,
dying.
oh my God. You know what? And this is the other thing. A lot of people have trouble toward the end of their life getting some food down.
So anything they can get,
if
any
you have a cream bun, they can, and it's sweet and delicious. It makes them want to eat.
Yep.
So forget the controversy about any
100%.
of that. You eat what you damn well like.
Yep.
Have what you feel like. Have what you want. And if it's a lot of sugar, go for it. But if families are in there as well, because we feed the families as well.
Yeah.
It's meant to be your home away from home.
And it really was.
And so you go in and have your healthy food and all of that kind of thing as well. Call Uber Eats, do whatever you want. But so I just wanted to make that.
Had the chef Adam Liston, so he's from Shabosho in Flora.
Yes.
He DM'd me and he was like, because obviously I'm posting all about it. He's like, what would your mum eat? I want to make you guys a meal. So I'm like, Mum, you've got your own private, personal, celebrity chef here. And he got what was it in the end? It was like a chicken broth noodle.
He brought that in.
Yeah, so
himself.
he made. Yeah.
Oh,
so
God.
Mum had just the clear broth, but the broth that he'd made, and it was delicious because she couldn't, that was quite close to the end. But me and Jessie had the one with all the noodles and the veggies and everything in it. And I'm sitting there I'm eating Shabosho dinner. It was incredible.
How fantastic.
Yeah.
And I guess this is the thing too, when you put it out to the world as to what's going on, people want to do things. They want to help you.
so grateful that I am who I am, and I've just yapped online my whole life because like the support that I've received, I wouldn't be here without it. And oh God, no. I don't know how people do it that don't have support, because I feel like I can barely do it sometimes.
I know. And also I think what you're doing though is you are helping others who don't necessarily have that same support.
Yeah.
Because you feel very alone.
100%.
Don't you?
Yes.
You can't explain it.
That's one of the biggest comments and DMs I get is obviously no one can change what's happened, but feeling less alone. And I think, like you said, in our culture, grief, people don't talk about it. And I get messages every now and then. I'm like, oh my God, do I like cry too much on the internet? But someone will be like, I'm so glad I found you. I lost my parent, I don't know, 8 months ago, and they almost feel stupid for still being so beside themselves because they don't have anyone else that gets it, and they're like seeing your journey, and like because I post the good and the bad.
Yeah.
And yes, I've got a bad day, and the next day I'm good. You can watch all of that, and it makes them just feel like, okay, I'm not like you can do grief wrong. It's so individual, but they feel less. I don't know what the word is. Not embarrassed, but less. I don't know, conscious.
Yeah.
That they're still really grieving.
And there's no timeline.
Oh God, no.
You know, it can hit you out of the blue. You'll hear a song or something, and you'll be walking along, and you'll go, something will be, you know, on your AirPods, and you'll go, no, 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 no. Or you'll be in a shop somewhere, and you'll go, oh my God, that was Mum's favourite song.
Jesse had my phone in his bum bag, and I went into the toilet. So I've got no phone, nothing. I go into the bathroom. The second I sit down, the song from the viral 35 million video, I want you, I need you. Oh God, I'm just sat there. I'm like, what? Oh no. And then Jesse, obviously it's playing in the men's toilet as well. And he's like, fuck, she's got no phone. She's got no nothing. I'm just like, ah! It gets you out. Like, I know, but the thing with my mom is because we were absolute besties.
Yeah.
I wouldn't change it to make it easier now, but I'm like, everything reminds me of her.
Yes.
Packing for Europe, I'll be like, oh my God, this dress. Oh, can't show Mum. Or like, oh, I'm going to book this restaurant. Oh, I'd normally be like, Mum, look where I'm going. Like, it's just everything.
It's that loss that just keeps
over and over and over.
And over and over again. And of course, you are, we're saying nearly 6 months. Is it 6 months?
Yeah.
That is such a short period
I
of
know.
time. That's nothing. And so you would be living this loss, this agony
over
of
and
her
over.
not being here every day.
Every second.
Every second. And so even when you're out and you're enjoying life and doing things with Jessie and so forth, suddenly it will just hit you, won't it?
Yep.
You'll just be thinking of something which is not related to your mum at all.
Yep.
But it will remind you of her in some way, of something you want to tell
100%.
her. Or the phone calls that you used to have with each other. And also I have to say that I've spoken to a lot of beautiful, beautiful family members who have lost their children. I've lost someone who's lost their daughter at a young age, and that I just think is...
I don't know how people cope.
I don't... This is what I'm talking about resilience.
Yeah.
And I am going somewhere with this. But the resilience and the bravery of people who can go on from that is just absolutely next level.
Yeah.
The loss of a child, and I believe the loss of a mother, are related in the most visceral way. You know, you give birth to a child and you do not expect to be the one who
you should never outlive
saying
the child.
ever. But conversely, saying goodbye to your mum, your young mum.
Hot bitch.
Hot
bitch.
Straighten your crown. I wish to God I'd met her. I really, really wish that I had met her, because the way you speak about her, she sounds just fun and beautiful and loving and warm and the best mum in the world. But moving on from that, it's hard. And you need support. And support comes in many different ways.
Yeah.
I know in the last year we've started the Caring Hearts Grief Support Group, because what happens is a lot of people leave the hospice and they've been in that hospice with their family member for weeks, 5 days or something. And it's, as much as people would want to get away from there because they thought this is just so sad.
No, I want to go back. I'll give anything to have that week back.
It's just like, yeah, it's a sacred space for them because it was the last place that their mum or their dad or their husband or wife or partner, or God forbid, adult child was. So every loss is as important as everyone else's.
Absolutely.
And it's all relative. But losing a mum, you are on the early stages, darling, and you are doing so well. 6 months, I mean, that's absolutely nothing. And I'm not going to say every day it's going to get easier because I don't think it's going to get easier. It's like, it's the saying, on the debris of despair, we build our character. But she's always sitting alongside you.
I don't know what she would say.
Always. I know. Well, exactly, because you were best friends. You knew each other so well.
Yeah.
But you have to, that's why I always say be kind to yourself. Like, do little things for yourself each day that make you feel good, because that's what your darling mum would want.
Yeah.
And just be kind. And if you're having a bad day, just get into bed and have that day and do whatever you want to do. And the next day...
Absolutely. Having compassion for yourself.
That is the forefront of everything. That's where it begins.
Yeah.
But you're actually showing your compassion for so many others in doing the podcast, in being the ambassador for the Walk for Love, where people are going to honour the memory of the person that they lost.
Yeah.
In the hospice or in home care or whatever, or somebody who's passed that they love. And it's an act of bringing them back.
Absolutely, and honouring them.
And honouring them and saying, we're in this community that I feel really alone, but I'm actually not alone. These people who are here, and so many out there that aren't, know exactly what you're going through. Everyone's loss is individual, but they can understand.
Oh, absolutely.
They never need to say, I can imagine what that must be like.
They know.
They go, I get it.
Yeah.
I get it. I get some days are foul. I get some days you just want to put your head under the covers and not get up.
Yep.
But I guess in the end, it's about living
100%.
as they would want you to.
I did a Mother's Day post, which was bloody last week.
I thought of you on Mother's Day. Do you know, I was going to contact you on Mother's Day, and I thought, no, I'm not, it's...
Oh, you're so welcome
hard.
to.
I just didn't want to be that, I guess, the one to go, oh, God, somebody from the hospice is contacting me to remind me.
No.
But no one needs reminding. It's just I was thinking of you.
Thank you.
Yeah.
It means a lot. I can't remember the quote exactly I put up on the video I made of Mum, but it was, no amount of time with anyone else would be better than the shortened years that we had.
Yeah. Oh, darling, I know.
It's getting really pretty. No, but
she was pretty. You're pretty. You're beautiful. I think that it's very true. You can't.
You have to be grateful for what you got. Doesn't mean it's fair.
Doesn't mean it's fair. It's not fair. It's not fair.
Some people don't get with their mums what Mum and I had.
No, and I think this is the thing. But you doing this podcast and reaching others who have lost their, whether it's their mum or their sister or their dad or their best friend or their adult child, whomever it is, you're making a difference and you're going, hey, don't feel alone.
Yeah.
I get what you're going through.
Absolutely.
And you're kind of doing it together with them. So proud of you.
Thank you. It's been very helpful for me doing this. It's been my outlet and my, not that grief needs a purpose, but it definitely feels like something I can channel. What can I do what can I do with this? And I can put it into something good. And Mum would have been so proud.
Your mum would be so, so proud of you, Sam. And I think you are doing a lot of good, and it's far-reaching good, which is really making a difference, not only for the kindness that you are showing us at Mary Potter in supporting us and encouraging people to go on the walk for love, etc., and support in the name of your beautiful mum, but also reaching people who have lost someone that they love, whether it's in palliative care or whether they've lost them in another way. It doesn't matter. It's still
It's all shit.
It's all shit.
It's all shit.
It's all shit.
Yeah.
And there's no other way of looking at it.
Yeah.
We can say, oh, well, you know, it's life, but it's shit too. It's really, really hard.
And that goes back to, I think, what we started this podcast saying is you have to live life. Like, as much as it's obviously so great that, you know, we could do all these things with mum in the hospice at the end, but even you and me, just as a normal everyday person, like within reason, do the things that make you happy now.
Absolutely.
The perspective that you get when you lose someone.
I know.
I mean, got to save some money, but I'm just buying the things that I want and I'm eating what I want. And I really appreciate like time with friends. Like, I'm so much more just time with the right people.
And
like,
in the moment.
Yep. And making memories and not waiting till the end to do things.
No.
You know?
And I think it's a really hard lesson though to do that, isn't it? But I think it is those moments. Like, I wear all my jewels.
Yes.
I wear like not outrageous outfits. Not today. I'm dressed in the finest by Sam. The finest robe by Sam. But no, I just feel that it's like no one's looking at me. Who cares? Wear what you want. Be what you want. As long as you're kind. My whole thing is just be kind, have compassion, but you do you.
Yep.
You do you. You go on the trip.
Absolutely.
You eat the cake.
Yep.
You know, you have the good champagne.
Mum always said life's too short for shit champagne.
Your mum was so right.
I've got to tell you, actually, in Europe is my business turns 10.
Oh, congratulations, darling. That's I know.
I know, but you know the brand Runa?
Yes.
The champagne house?
Yes.
I've got lunch there. So we're getting the train, we'll be in Paris. So we're getting the train to Champagne region to Reims for the day.
Reims.
Reims.
Yes.
And I was like, Runa's here. So Jess and I have booked lunch. And that's my way of bringing mum into it.
Oh, yes. She'll be with you.
Oh, she is. I've got a little love heart with her ashes in it. She'll be on the table.
Oh, my God.
We'll get her a glass.
Get her a glass. Absolutely get her a glass.
I'm taking her to Lake Como. I thought, do you want to find George Clooney, Mum?
Oh, yeah, there he is over there. Let's go. Get in the boat. Start rowing. Let's start going. Susan, we're there. We're there over there.
I know.
That is fantastic.
Yeah, so there's no, I mean, I'd rather celebrate it with the bitch, but there's no better way for me to be able to bring mum into it than lunch at Champagne. Like,
oh my God, which she loved champagne.
Yeah, and Runa was our, like, I mean, we loved pole, we loved Bolly, but like Runa was our like very special occasion.
The girls one, yeah.
Yes.
Well, that's going to mean so much more. But
Absolutely.
your mum was right. Do not drink anything that's
No.
shit. Drink the good stuff.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Do those things. I mean, obviously, money aside, but do what you can. Even simple things that you go, oh, well, it's going to, you know, not cost me that much. Be with your friends. Go out on a night out.
Absolutely.
Go out, even the nights that you kind of go, oh, no, I really can't be bothered. The joy that you get after you see them.
Yep.
Yeah, it's people. It's being with the people that love you, that don't judge you, and that bring you joy. And I think that's what sustains you.
Yeah.
And so for those people watching your podcast that don't necessarily have a lot of that, I think you're doing something beautiful because they're not alone.
Well, do you know what as well? I've had a few messages which are my favourite of someone who goes, they saw my, you know, viral video and they've followed me, and then their parent got diagnosed after. So when they found me, they did not have a sick parent.
Wow.
But then they've gone straight away, not I'm saying like my way is the right or the best way, but they're like straight away making memories. I've had some that have sent me them asking their parents the questions that I asked my mum.
Really?
And they were just like, because when it happens to you, you're so brain fogged, you're so stressed.
Yeah.
You're not always thinking logical.
No.
And it's like, I love the idea that it's almost given a roadmap for what I think was a good way to do it.
Yes.
But I've had them, like, their parents have, you know, passed, and they're like, I wouldn't have thought to make this video if I hadn't seen your video.
No.
And I'm just like, I love that so much.
It's so
I love
good.
it so much.
I know. And I think that's the way you've been there for other people.
Yeah.
Not even knowing about it.
Yeah.
Not even knowing that at that time it's kismet. It's really just a kismet scenario where they found you at the right time, and
Yep.
they were able to prepare a
Yep.
little bit better by knowing from you that these are the memories we need to create
Yep.
while we can, because
Exactly.
that's what lasts.
And that's what I hold on to.
Yes, yeah.
I rewatch my own Instagram videos every day. I'm like, oh, there she is. Hey, Mum.
There she is.
There she is.
So she's always there.
Yeah.
And I think that this is what our whole thing at the foundation is about. When we talk about individual care,
Yep.
it is about what that individual wants, but
Yes.
also to cross things off a bucket list. We are not Make-A-Wish Foundation.
Yeah.
We are not that. I just need to sort of make that clear. But we want to make those little wishes come
100%.
true. We did have a gay wedding in the hospice. There were these, it was the first gay wedding actually that we had in the hospice, and two beautiful gentlemen who been together for 35 to nearly 40 years, I suppose. And I had a phone call from the clinical care manager at the hospice and said, you have to come over now and meet these two beautiful men. They had got married
Yeah.
the day before on a public holiday, and it had been arranged very, very quickly. So they wanted to talk to me about it, about the care that they had had. When the gentleman in the bed, I won't name their names, the patient was going downhill very quickly. They made the decision to get married. So his partner arranged the celebrant, but everything had to happen super, super fast. So the nurses were amazing. Because it was a public holiday, we weren't working, and so the nurses contacted this beautiful place, Maratis Gâteaux and Cakes.
Yep, I know the
They
one.
did a wedding cake. At short notice, they opened up especially for the nurses to go and get this cake. There was champagne and wine, and they had all of their friends. The room was set up absolutely beautifully, and other hospice patients were allowed to come and sort of sit outside as well with their families, and there was a sense of real joy there. When I came in to meet these two gentlemen the next day, they were on such a high. They said, this is the best thing that's happened to us, and this was the best place to get married. I'm thinking, I'm not sure if you really think that this was the best place to get married, but they said, we're surrounded by so much love here. And so much support, and all the nurses came in, and we had got flowers for them, and all the nurses came in to watch it as well, and they were just so happy that the people that had been taking care of them for the previous 2 weeks were all there to celebrate. They just said, there's so much love here in this room, and there's so much love here, and this is, we couldn't think of a better place. And they could go outside because of the doors that opened off their room, and there were all their dearest friends out there toasting them, and the people kept coming back the next day. And the gentleman who was in the bed, he said to me, this is keeping me going. This is absolutely fantastic. So he couldn't get up. You know, he couldn't walk or anything anymore. But their gratitude for the smallest things, for the love in the room, for what the hospice nurses did for them, that stayed with me for a long time. And I thought, that was a big thing. I appreciate that. But it wasn't the fact that they were able to have a wedding in the hospice. It was the fact of their gratitude for the fact that someone went and got them a cake on a public holiday.
It was the love and the care.
It was the love and the care, and it was truly individual care. So I loved that about that. But just another, I walked in one day into the hospice, and a friend of mine who I hadn't seen for a long time was standing in the hallway, and she had stepped outside the room for a minute because her mum was in being looked after by one of the nurses. And she said, oh, Susie. And I said, oh my goodness, darling, I didn't expect to see you here. And she was saying, I have to tell you something that's just happened. My mum has been in the Royal Adelaide Hospital, and she was such a lady, and at that point,
of course,
was still around. But she said, you know, she was just in a hospital gown in there, and she's had to be brought in really, really quickly. I've got to tell you what happened. I didn't even say anything to the nurse, but the nurse took one look at her and was really loving and everything and said to her, Maureen, we are going to wash your hair. How would you feel about that? And it had been the one thing that had been really bugging this dear lady. Yeah. Her hair hadn't been washed. The nurses at the Royal Adelaide, they just didn't have time.
Well, they don't have the resources.
They don't have the resources and they don't have time. They are amazing. The nurses at the RA are fantastic. It was about the fact they didn't have time. But without them even asking, the hospice nurse took one look and said, right, this is what we're doing. And so my friend left the room and went and had a massage with with Rose, like just a little hand massage and foot massage. By the time she came back, she said, I walked in, Mum had been bathed, she was sitting up wearing her own nightgown, like they don't do hospital gowns.
You're encouraged to have your own clothes, your own pyjamas.
She had put on a bit of lipstick, her hair had all been done, she smelled amazing, and she said, I just had to stop myself from bursting into tears because that was the most basic kind of care. But there was my mum again in the bed. Yep. There she was. Yep. And Rose actually told me one other story too, that she had a phone call from one of the nurses that said there was a patient there who had, because of her treatment, had grown quite a bit of facial hair and was really very upset about the way she looked. So Rose went in and in her loving way was like, now darling, what would you like done? And her mum was in the room as well. And this lovely young woman was saying, I feel ugly, you know, and Rose gave her a facial, got rid of the facial hair, did her nails, put makeup on her. Rose. And she looked in the mirror, this girl looked in the mirror and burst into tears and she said, there I am.
Yeah. Oh.
There I am. Yeah. I'm me again.
Yeah.
And, you know, I think that's just like, it's such a simple thing, but like this is me.
Yeah.
There I am, it's me in the mirror. I didn't know who I was before. I know they sound trite things. I know these things you go, oh, well, it's a vanity thing. By God, it's not at all. But you know what?
But not in a bad way.
Not in a bad way. It's like, this is me. Like, this illness is robbing me of everything, but I can still be pretty.
Absolutely.
I can still have someone
and
you
clean
feel good and clean and beautiful. So those sorts of things are the little things that I take away and go,
they're the biggest things. The little things are the biggest things.
I think they are too.
You reminded me of a story I was halfway through, but then I got sidetracked about how it leaves us the room to be the daughters and then the nurses look after Mum with all those ways. So Mum, because she was there very proud, and I used to help her go to the bathroom, but then as it got harder, we would need help with the nurses. And Mum would be very like, you know, and it's like a bit embarrassed or whatever. She was very proud. She was very proper. She swore with me in private, but she didn't swear in front of other people. And I mean, you know me enough. I make my jokes. I can be a bit of a swearer, a bit vulgar. Funny. So like when Mum would start to get like, you know, embarrassed, Lee and I have been saying this for years. If you ever have to go to the bathroom, I'd be like, go piss, girl. Hated it.
Oh, did she?
Hated it. But in a laughy way, but she hated it. So when the nurses would come, I'd be like, oh, Mum, like, here, go piss, girl. And she'd go, Samantha. And then it would be the nurse would be laughing and then Mum would be like angry but laughing. And it made a moment, it brought lightness to it. And like that's what it allowed me to do, was be the funny one and to make her laugh. And then rather than her just feeling self-conscious, then her and the nurse are bonding over bitching about me swearing. And it just turned it into a much more like fun environment.
Absolutely.
And then with the wheelchair in the airport. So then when she started to get a bit anxious because she's on the wheelchair and everything, I was pretending to run her into people's ankles and they didn't know. I didn't actually get too close, but she's like, Sam, stop it. And then we're laughing the whole way through the airport. Like yeah.
Those are special moments.
And that's what it allowed me to remain being, you know.
Her daughter.
Yeah.
Someone she could have fun with, someone that she could always rely on, that she was still your mum telling you off, which mums always do, like, show some decorum.
Samantha.
Don't, Samantha, don't speak like that. but at the same time loving it.
Absolutely.
And the nurse is loving it.
Absolutely.
That's so beautiful.
Yeah, I'm so grateful that, because we had the best week, believe it or not. It was the best
was
week.
your mum there just for a week? Wow.
Yeah.
But you packed a lot into that
Oh,
week.
God, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, we didn't sleep, so it was 168 hours of being awake most of the time.
So you slept top to toe?
Yes, so I got actually Chloe, the owner of the Tan Club Co in North Adelaide.
yes.
She came and dropped me off a proper bed. I spent one night on that maternity rollout. Oh my God, my back, I'm too old for that.
Dreadful.
I'm grateful that they had that.
Dreadful.
So she got me a proper like Kathmandu bed with a mattress on top, and I had it the same height as Mum. So, and then I was top to toe, because the first night when I was normal, because they've got the barricade,
Yes.
you can't see.
No.
So top to toe, and because, you know, she might wake up. I felt like a mum to a newborn is all I can imagine. It was like, if she's awake, I'm awake. If she's sleeping, I'll rest.
course.
And so that way, anytime her eyes are open, she can see me.
Yeah.
And I think if I had not have moved in, I think we would have had less time, because I went home the first night because she was quite happy and quite settled. And then when I went back at like 6 a.m, she was so lost and so confused because she'd woken up at 3 and not known where she is.
Yeah.
And they'd said the night before that they do things like those therapy dog visits and all these cool things that they do. But when I walked in, it took her a really long time to see me. Like, she was really confused. I'm like, are you okay? And she's like, I've been awake since 3, and it's like 6 or 7. She goes, I woke up and I thought I had to get ready for the dogs. I had to be ready for the dogs to come, because someone had made a comment and she'd...
That the therapy dogs were coming.
Yeah. And so I didn't leave from that point. I was just like, nah, I'm moving in, because it's like any time that she woke up and she was a smidge confused, I'm there. And I've got a video of her just saying like, no, I wake up and Sam's there. I'm okay. She's here.
That's...
But back to people's mental state, I think if people are confused and alone and scared, it definitely would shorten. So I think like we only got a week, but I don't think we would have had as much if I had not been there 24/7.
No, absolutely. A comfort for her.
Because she never got to that confused, that level again. It was, you know?
Yeah. And I think the only time I think that she got that confused was before you were going on that sunset.
Oh, God, yeah. Did you watch that episode?
No, I remember you telling me about that, and I thought, wow, that's very confronting for you and terribly upsetting to see your mum like that. But then once she was in the car...
Oh, the minute we pulled out the hospice and like the sun, she saw the sun, she smiled. And I was like, oh, thank God.
Oh, my God.
Because I was thinking like, is this the right thing to do? And
no,
absolutely,
it was the right thing to do. Actually, that was just something you just reminded me. We're talking about the sun, and I did mention to talk this. I did not speak to this gentleman, but I remember our executive director Lorna telling me this story, and this is what I mean about the small things. This man was probably in his last few days. He didn't have family. And the nurses really, loved him and were there for him. And he said that he had never seen a sunrise. He had just worked, the whole time. He'd never, ever seen a sunrise. And so the nurse that was on duty left a note to say, I want his bed turned around overnight while he's asleep, so that when he wakes up in the morning, we're going to make the blinds be up. Yeah. And she got up and came in at 5 o'clock in the morning. She wasn't even meant to be working, and sat with him holding his hand while they watched the sun come up together. How beautiful. I just think that's extraordinary. Talk about the little things.
The biggest things.
I know. The little things are the biggest things. And that is just amazing to do that. And I think that's where compassion and empathy and kindness and love all collide in one fell swoop. And I think that is the essence of Mary Potter Hospice.
Absolutely.
And I think that's all that probably needs to be said.
No, 100%. It's, my main drive for even doing this in the first place was to bring awareness to it. Because, unless you've been in that situation, like, we don't know. People don't talk about it. And it is the biggest thing.
Well, thank you for talking about it, darling. Thank you so much. No, thank you. been absolutely wonderful. What a treat and what an honour.
And I'll see you Sunday.
You'll see
at
me
the
Sunday.
walk.
I know. I've got to
Fucking
be there
raining.
at
Did you
6
look?
o'clock in the... Yes, I heard it's going to be raining.
I think it's not going to though because it's getting less and less. I think as we get closer, it'll.
I know.
I'll just ask Mum. She'll sort it out.
Susan, go for it, girl. One more thing.
Yes.
Sorry, I've just got to
No,
read
please
out
tell
something
me.
that a nurse talked about when she was talking about what she loves about working in the hospice environment. I've been there for movie nights and birthdays with pizzas, cakes and balloons. We've had a patient's much loved V8 Holden drive down to his room, a patient's horse that's come to visit her, and a high tea shared between a patient and the granddaughter she taught to bake. I've watched newborn babies come in for a first and last photo with a dying patient. I've watched the bubble man come along to amuse a patient's children with lots of laughter and bubbles blowing all around the room. I've seen how meaningful and individual gifts have been bought for patients to give to their loved ones when they are unable to do this themselves. We've had weddings, anniversaries, Christmas dinners, everything made possible by the Foundation's donors, and it's all about the unexpected care that the Foundation makes possible, which is fantastic.
I have chills.
And it just, I know, it's so beautiful. But I also remembered a family that we spoke to. I think we practically devoted a whole newsletter to them. Their beloved son was all about motorbikes, and his wife arranged secretly to have one of his mates bring his bike in the back way into the hospice, come in through his little garden and into his room, and just so he could have it in his room because he was obsessed with it and loved it. And he was very, very ill. I think he was on his last couple of hours. And the nurses came in the room, and his wife said, this gentleman's wife said, we needed to move him so he could see the bike. And the nurses came in the room. So she said, we had to call the nurses and own up to the fact that we've sneaked this bike in. And the nurses have come in and gone, yes! A whole group of them came in and they moved him. They moved this gentleman so he could see the bike. And the nurses are like, start it up. So they started up the bike in the room, and so he could hear it rev. Poor other patients. But it was about, that's what he wanted.
Yeah.
And the family could not believe it. It was just those little things. The Foundation's donors actually did quite a lot for this particular family. They're a very, very special family, but they had done a lot for this gentleman, this patient, and his very, very big family. But they were always turning, the nurses were always turning to the family after they looked after him and said, now about you, what can we do for you? Yeah. And I think that's the essence, isn't it, really, of what it's all about. That was just one more thing I wanted to mention, because some of the things that we have done are, you know, a bit out there, and some of them are things that the nurses have just said, yes, just go for it, because we know what those special moments are like.
Well, at the end of the day, it's whatever is important to that particular patient.
And as long as it's not too disturbing to the other patients, you know, I mean, that would have made quite a loud noise. It was in the middle of the day, so it was fine, but it was a long time ago now. But
how beautiful.
But how beautiful, just something so simple and loud, but you know, it was only for a very short time. I must make that quite clear. It doesn't happen very, very often. So it's really just the little things, and also the volunteers too that are there to help the nurses. The hospice volunteers are just amazing, as are our volunteers in the Foundation. They just give up their time to come in and just do amazing things, particularly for patients that don't have very many family members there, that they can come in and sit there and hold their hand and talk to them, and and just know the right time to come in with a cup of tea is, or just to quietly be in the background. I think they are just angels. So,
I was going to say angels, absolutely.
Angels. So, yeah, I think it's a very, very special place to be, dealing with a great deal of sadness, but I just need to emphasise that.
Well, I couldn't believe how much love and laughter and fun that we had that week. Obviously still lots of tears, but I could have never have envisioned how much love and laughter there would be as well. And with the nurses and with everybody. Like, it's
Yeah, I think it just brings everything down to this certain essence, doesn't it? Like,
Yep.
we're here for what's important,
Yep.
which is your beautiful mum and you. And so you are really important too.
Yeah.
So it's like everyone concentrating on that and bringing all that laughter and love and life
Yep.
into
Yeah.
a place where you're going through the worst time in your life, but finding those little moments of joy, those little moments of living.
Yeah.
Oh, that's what sustains you in the end.
Absolutely.
I think that's it.
I know.
All right, darling.
I will see you Sunday.
We'll see you Sunday.